Currently, contract negotiations are coming up for city union employees. By state mandate, the city is required to increase the benefits package by 2% from 23.75% to 25.75%. The city currently pays the entire amount. That is by law, okay? With a decrease in revenue coming to the city of approximately $1 million, are you willing to negotiate with the unions if they were to ask for any percentage over and above for a pay increase beyond that?
You starting with me?
Yep.
Well, you're being a hunter-herder guy, huh? Well, for the last 7 or 8 years, we've had our HR director enter into negotiations with all the unions and upcoming contracts and issues. We have recently hired a labor attorney from Las Vegas. I don't know if you're aware of this.
Yes, I heard that at City Council.
Yes. And he is a very high-priced attorney, supposedly giving us a great deal. I'll believe that when I see it. But I don't think there's anybody that sits on the council today that's even remotely capable of getting into union negotiations or discussing labor contracts. It's something that's totally out of our realm of understanding. That's why these labor attorneys certainly exist. This guy, we've had some discussions with him, and he seems to think that we're on the right track with the union leaders in pre-negotiations. I think they're going to start in probably early June or the middle of June, right after election. And from what I understand, we're on the right track. But as far as city council getting involved in those negotiations, it's something we're not capable of handling.
I think that Gino's on the right track. I do think that the negotiator will take direction from the city council. I think if you look at transparentnevada.com, you can see the salary of every public servant in the state. I don't think our guys are overpaid. In fact, they take less money to stay here than some others do in a lot of places. And let's face it, we have 4 guys on shift for, I'm talking about just the police department off the top of my head. We have 4 guys on shift every shift. That's not really a lot of guys out there on shift. And they not only have to take care of all of us, we have an extra couple thousand people running around in town doing stupider things than we generally do at any given time. And so I think that the last few years, if I remember correctly, they've actually taken some cuts, and they've done that willingly because they stay in Mesquite because they love Mesquite. But I think that we need to leave the negotiations to the people who know what they're doing, because obviously I probably, if I had the money and the city had the money, I think that we should, you know, these guys risk their lives for us, just like veterans did or somebody, but we can't write that big a check. The veterans don't get paid that much either.
Can I add something there? The police are not involved in these negotiations.
No.
It's the firefighters and some of the rank and file employees that do the everyday work in the city. But the police have they negotiated a year and a half ago. So.
Yeah. But even the firefighters, they always go above and beyond. And like I said, I think that go look at their salaries, compare them to other cities. I don't think anybody's overpaid.
I was a little concerned at the fact that the city spent the money to like $483, I believe, an hour.
$428.
$428, okay. To have a union negotiator, special attorney come in. We have used staff, the attorneys that we have on staff before, and I think if nothing else that one of our attorneys on staff should be capable of doing this. I think that's a lot of money to spend. I know originally they said it would be very few hours. It's going to be a lot of hours. Union negotiations don't go smoothly or quickly as a rule. I believe it's their decisions, they're gonna negotiate, they're gonna come back, and they're gonna bring it back to city council as far as voting for an increase or not. I think an increase should happen. And the 2%, I mean, we got, Social Security got 2.2%, I think it is this year. I think that they definitely deserve that type. And if we're gonna ask where the money might come from, I might even suggest that council, new council, old council, mayor, we could take a great reduce in the amount of money that we receive and the benefits that we would receive being on city council, and that could help cover those costs.
I would just like to add to that statement, the 2% is mandated. If they were to ask for another 2 or 3 or 4%, whatever it was, you are looking at 6%. And so that's a pretty hefty increase, and that's why I'm bringing the question up. 2% is mandated, we know that, and that's in the benefit package. So it's what's on top of that, and that's why, what is your thought?
Well, I think we have to keep it very tight, and so if the 2% is mandated, I think a maximum of 2% more would be about all I could see. I too am concerned about the $428 an hour person, but I do recognize the need for the expertise. But with a new person on Cheryl Hunt's staff, our city attorney, I would have expected the council to have capped that contract. Because Andy Barton, the first time it came up, said we thought it'd be about 6,000 or 8,000, and the council went ahead and approved it without a cap. And then later on, Andy had to report that, I'm sorry, it's going to be a lot more than that.
Mm-hmm.
But I would think that our own city attorney could take on some of those duties, and that we just use the resources of the expert in as small a way as possible, and we cap it, and if we need to use more, we got to make that judgment time after time. That's not the way it is now. It's an open-end contract. There's no cap. And again, that concerns me from the standpoint of the taxpayers. I have no knowledge that this guy would want to go on any boondoggle or anything like that, because he is an attorney and he is a pro, and we need his expertise. But I think it would have been a reasonable measure to cap the contract. If they needed more, come back.
Could I add just one more thing to this? Well, no, it's more than just the firefighters. It's Teamsters who are represented at City Hall by almost every employee at City Hall is a member of the Teamsters. And it's more than just money with the firefighters. It's a condition of being available and response time. You've got to be able to respond within 15 minutes. A lot of these people come in and spend their time here and on their shifts, and then they live in Las Vegas, they live in St. George, they live elsewhere. They're not actually full-time residents of the city of Mesquite, which is another issue that's going to be on this agenda. City Hall being closed on Friday is going to be another issue on these negotiations. Again, this was all dictated by the last union contract, so there are more issues than just benefits that are in the process of this negotiation.
The benefits being mandated is something I think we need to talk to Crescent Party about, actually.
Well, he's done a good job with labor in Carson City. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, everybody's got to have a little skin in the game as far as I'm concerned. And if there's no reason why the city should foot the bill for everything. If you're going to work for the city and gain the benefits and gain the prospect of steady employment for time to come, I think something has got to give. You've got to give something back. And yes, I would make it a requirement that city employees do pay a portion of their rent. And I don't know how it's going to break down the numbers, but I think they should be attributable to pay something back in the form of a percentage. Yes.
Thank you very much for clarifying the question, because that's not what I understood. But with it clarified that way, the answer would definitely be yes. My husband pays into his retirement. We pay for our own insurance, and I think that most people do pay at least a part of their insurance We pay for a part of our insurance, obviously, we're on a group plan, but we pay for a part of that. He pays into his 401k, you know, we all pay into our Social Security, we pay into those programs, and I really think that yes, that it should be negotiated, that they want to pay how much of a percentage or what number. I think that's going to have to be something we'll have to look at.
And I would say yes. I know my husband had to pay half of his PERS. I paid into my retirement, and I think most people do. You know, I know it's a nice benefit, and we all like benefits, and sometimes the benefits are what make people stay, or what we give them because we can't give them a raise. But if they're paying a portion into their PERS, then they might be more willing to stay and get it out of there because they are paying part of it. So I would say definitely yes.
Yeah, I would also say yes. We've got to remember, these people, that could be a net decrease if all of a sudden, if they've been given the full ride on the benefits, and all of a sudden they don't. So I might take that extra 2%, even though it's mandated. That doesn't mandate that we can't then have them contribute 2%. So I might start slowly and take that increase that we're mandated to have and make them pay that portion, and then see where we go from there. But I don't think you can do it too fast because these people are used to this. And again, I wouldn't want to lose a star receipt performer over something like that. But you have to apply it across the board.
I want to clarify this question too, because I did some background on it today in talking with a city employee that I'm not going to put under the gun. I'm just going to tell you what I was told and why the question is worded the way it was worded. And I may have been given not the best information. It would not have been intentional. But I was told that this person believed that the city legally has to pay the entire amount of the benefits package. Anybody disputing that?
I think that's
I don't
a
think-
negotiation.
no, I don't
I
think
think it's part of the negotiation. Okay, that's why I worded the question the way I did. I wanted to be very careful not to put out bad information. I thought I was putting out good.